a solution to fix it, and I'll probably spend the next week working on that. But so we're on episode 86 through 110, and before we got to talking about what was happening, I was trying to tell you guys and Drago about like some other Nietzschean concepts,
Basically, like a
will of power,
a deeper view of looking at it.
Yeah, and we're probably gonna delete that little 14-minute thing of when the live stream died. So I'm gonna try to recreate everything I was saying, but I can't promise it'll be perfect or sound as good. Or this might sound even better, but I doubt it. So basically, Nietsche was working on a concept called will to power before he died. It was going to be like his magnum opus sort of thing. It was going to be like this 4-part thing that he was working on, and he only got to make part 1 before he died. And it was called, it's supposed to be Anti-Christianity is the name, but everyone translates it to Antichrist to make it sell better.
Yeah.
But he's basically critiquing Christianity, and the moral problems it presents with everything. But with the will to power, it's not the will to dominate people, which a lot of people get confused because that's what it sounds like when you just say the will to power, or it sounds like might makes right or something like that. But Nietsche did not believe in that at all. He thought if you were trying to subjugate people with your power, you were just too weak in and of himself. You're too weak of a person, and that's why you wanted to control people. He believed, for lack of better terms, that the will to power was just the willingness, or willingness works, but the drive to make yourself better. The will, when he says power, he doesn't just mean political power or military might. Those are in that realm, but it's not those things. It's those make up part of it, but it's not the whole that he was talking about. He's basically saying that striving yourself forward, you might accidentally hurt a few people on the way, but it's morally right to keep going forward, I guess, is the best way to explain it.
Suffering breeds evolvement.
Well, not this isn't the suffering. It's just the will to power is the will to make yourself better, sort of thing. It's, or not necessarily in the realm of self-improvement, but the power that you're trying to achieve is self-mastery. Is the ultimate expression of the power is self-mastery. There's a thing where he talks about he thinks that the passage from Jesus when it says if something offends you, pluck it out your eye so you don't see it, or pluck out your eye if it offends you, that way you don't see it. Nietsche didn't like that. He thought that was dumb. He thought the correct thing to do was to make yourself mentally strong enough to where it doesn't bother you in the first place.
Make yourself, instead of if something offends you, plucking your eyes so you don't see it is almost like avoiding the issue. Nietzsche would say, no, embrace that thing to the point where it doesn't offend you anymore.
Yeah,
makes yourself stronger.
Yeah, it's he'd say stuff like removing things, removing the issue from around you doesn't fix the issue. It just makes you not interact with the issue. And he didn't like that. He thought you should 100% just deal with the issue. Let's say if you're overly you eat too much, he would say the correct thing to do isn't to not buy food. It's just to grow a pair and stop eating. is basically how, like, it's all about becoming a master of yourself, basically.
Yes.
Like, you're not getting self-discipline and learning self-control if you
By
don't put
avoiding the
yourself,
issue.
if you just avoid the issue.
Yeah. So back to the analogy. Yeah. So if you were to sit there and like try to diet or try to like, you know, do like take supplements and stuff to avoid the eating issue, instead of just going ahead, buckling down, and say, hey, this is the reason that I don't need to be doing this, and going by that reason.
Well, I wouldn't take diet in that part, because diet
Well,
is
diet
showing
would be,
yeah. You are showing self-control.
Yeah.
By going on it.
Yeah. But like not buying food, just completely avoiding it, trying to starve yourself, stuff like that. Like instead of just buckling down and developing, you know, a way of dismantling that problem, you know, constructively, not destructively, would be a big thing.
Yeah. And you might be wondering, what does this random ass tangent have to do with One Piece? I know that's what Drago's probably thinking.
No.
And it's what the back of my head's thinking, like, how are you going to tie this into One Piece? But how it ties into One Piece is that's like Luffy's entire personality.
Like everything.
Like, as we get deeper into it, you can see bits and pieces. Like that's his entire thing. Like when he learns what the warlords are, he thinks it's kind of stupid. Like, he doesn't like the fact that they're just, I think he even calls them puppets of the government or something like that. Or
yeah, and like
he calls them puppets of the Navy.
When they get to explaining what they are, and then they give their opinions about them, he does say like puppets of the Navy. Because
this is like the first time we've actually talked in the show. Like the first time, like they say like Mihawk's one, but they don't really, because they're not trying to fight Mihawk. They're just learned about Mihawk because someone talked about it. This time they're actually preparing to face 07 Warlord.
They're actually gearing up to go fight Crocodile. Like that is the whole thing, because he's basically taking over Alabasta, and Vivi, being the princess, wants to save it.
Yeah, so it's like they are, what's the correct word?
Liberating.
I guess technically they're just trying to like unobfuscate what Crocodile has obfuscated, because like everything that's bad that's happened in Alabasta is all Crocodile's
trying
fault.
To take down his establishment.
Yeah, but like how that little rant about the right to power and stuff like that, why it matters for One Piece is, it's just, that's how Luffy's entire character is in a nutshell. Like, his whole thing is he's not after power, he's just after, well, at this point it ties in because of his first fight with Crocodile. That's the big thing, because Crocodile basically chastised him for all those reasons that we just listed. And Crocodile's just like, you can't beat me because you're undisciplined. All you have is gimmicks.
Yeah.
And stuff. The first time when Crocodile just beats the crap out of Luffy.
Yep.
And he's just like, you have so much potential, but you're just doing gimmicks and so worried about the fact that you're stretchy and using your abilities. You didn't take time to master yourself, and that's why you'll never beat me. Sort of like he gives him
that
like
first time when he drops him up in that sand hole, he gives him that speech.
Yeah, I wrote down the entire speech.
Dude, I should've.
And we'll cover it in a minute. But it just goes to show, like, Luffy's slowly starting to implement that stuff. And when we get to hockey, he's fully embraced it.
And it's crazy. You know, it is crazy. We will get to all that.
And then the other thing we were talking about before the internet so rudely turned itself off was that, so Nietsche also has a couple other things, and things with it's morally wrong to chase comfort and avoid risk and danger. Like, it makes you a worse person. But to chase suffering to better yourself is 100% the correct thing to do. And that's Luffy's entire MO. he's all about suffering that has a reason for being. Like, his entire crew, like, when they're suffering of their own making that makes them better, like, Zoro trains all the time. Like, he's just weight training and sword training 24/7. And when you think about it, that is a type of suffering. He's not just doing it because he's not just doing it to doing it. Like, he's taking on some amount of suffering because he knows it'll make him better later. And Luffy's 100% okay with that. Same when like Nami's pouring over a map or something, she's going through a type of suffering, and Luffy's good with that. But if you look at like Arlong Park, when like Nami was suffering at the hands of Arlong, Luffy was just like, nah, dog, we're not with that.
Yeah.
Like, and at the start, Nami didn't want his help because she had a way. It's like the Nietsche quote, he who has a why can bear anyhow. Basically, like, if you have a reason to suffer, you can suffer through anything. And that works with the Arlong Park stuff, because Nami has a solution to the problem that she can work towards. But then Nezumi comes up and snatches it. Dick face. He's
rat face, dick face.
Rat dick face. He steals all her money, and then she loses her meaning.
Her why?
Yeah, she loses her why for her suffering, and then it breaks her. And then Luffy's just like, okay, cool, you made my navigator cry, and my navigator's such a strong person that the only reason she would cry is because someone stole her will for living.
That's true, actually, because she is pretty much a very strong person up until to get to this point in the story with Arlong Park. Because, bro, she didn't cry or show really any remorse for sadness or anything for anything she'd been through up till this point when Arlong took her why away. And that's it had to have been something that literally like altered her life in a grave sense for her to really lose herself like that.
Yeah. So like Luffy doesn't like. He's fine with people suffering as long as it's suffering that has a reason.
Yeah.
Like, suffering that's good. And it's not just suffering that's good, it's suffering that they are okay with. Or if it's suffering that they need. Because, like, a good example would be... I'm trying to think of, like, the earliest example. With, the earliest example probably would be with Zoro. Like,
I would have said Sanji and his crew.
I was going to think, like, when he first runs into Zoro, like, episode 2.
Yeah. So
where he's just like, where Zoro's just like, I'm going to stay here as long as I can because it'll protect this little girl and she won't get in trouble. And then he ate the sandy rice balls and everything.
Yeah.
And Luffy was fine with that. But as soon as it found out that that suffering wasn't actually going to be for the reasons that he was told and promised it was for, Luffy all of a sudden was just like, nah, bro, you're not sent through this. We're breaking you out.
Yeah, as soon as what was it? Helmeppo leaked that it didn't matter of how long you waited, they were gonna kill you anyway.
Yeah, it
was like, nah, bro, you're not finna waste your life away here. But my example, I was gonna say when Sanji was about to leave and all the chefs started ridiculing his cooking. In other words, it was like they were trying to make him suffer by telling him his talents weren't good enough there in order to force him to go to the sea. But it really wasn't them telling him, and when he found out that it really wasn't them trying to, tell him his cooking was bad, as them trying to push him out to sea, made him want to go out to sea even more, and understood that they were behind him and not against him. They were actually behind him. But that's probably not the exact same parallel.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the stuff that shows that Luffy's fine with people suffering as long as there's a reason to suffer. Because, like, he actually calls them out. Like, in your example, he calls them out for
it. He did.
He's like, we all know that's bullshit. Like, this is great. And it's like, because it wasn't suffering that did something. It's like, why he's after Crocodile is because he's making people suffer unjustly.
Unjustly.
Like, there's no, like, there's no reason for their suffering. Like the old man in Alabasta that's just digging a well, Koza's dad.
Yeah.
That's just digging a well. He 100% agrees with his journey to find the water because that helps his people. So Luffy thinks that that's a great thing to strive for. But as soon as Crocodile threatens it to like have more suffering that he doesn't deserve or doesn't like, that's not part of what he agreed to, Luffy's all of a sudden pissed off and just like, that's it, Crocodile, I'm gonna beat your ass. Like, he doesn't like suffering that doesn't have a meaning, not just for himself, but also every suffering that he got. Luffy's suffering is special also, because everything suffering that he has to go through in the story, he's 100% okay with, because it puts him he thinks it puts him closer to his goal of being Pirate King. So he doesn't care what the suffering is, but he also doesn't put that moral framework on everybody else.
That's true.
Or like, he doesn't put that burden on himself to everyone else.
He also wouldn't accept that somebody else to put that burden on themselves when they don't need to. And I'm thinking about that when talking about Vivi.
But also, the reason I think that is because everyone else doesn't, or almost everyone else doesn't have a dream that they feel it's worth dying if it happens. Him and Zoro are the only ones.
Yeah,
that
you're right.
Don't like they go after their dreams so full-heartedly that they don't care if they don't care when they die, because they died sacrificing everything for their dream.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Zoro and Luffy are the only two people in the crew that have oppositions to their dream. Like, you know, for Zoro, in order to become the world's greatest swordsman, he has to take out the current world's greatest swordsman. And for Luffy, in order for him to become Pirate King, he has to get through everybody else that's trying to be Pirate King. Yeah, he has to get through all the
other pirates.
Yeah.
So they're everyone else, it doesn't, they don't have to go through others to get their dream.
Right. And it's just a product of what Luffy is doing is what everyone else's dream. Because, like, in Frankie's case, he just wants the best ship to go around the sea, you know, and
like, his technically has to go through other people, but not directly.
Not directly.
Indirectly.
And you think about, like, Nami, of course, she would have to, the journey would have to continue in order for her dream to become true.
And then Nico doesn't have to go through people, because of all the people protecting the poneglyphs and stuff. But at the end of the day, she doesn't have to go, like, her dream isn't diametrically opposed to somebody else's dream.
Right. Like
Zoro and Luffy, they have to prove that their will for their dream, or their will to power, is greater than everybody else's will to power. Yeah. That's like, they have to directly do that, while everyone else just has to get to a place.
Matter of fact, the only one person in the Straw Hats whose dream probably would be next up in opposition, I think, is Chopper's. Because the stuff he had, like, all he wants to do is be the best doctor ever. But in a world to where he doesn't even know what the next disease is going to pop up, you know, that is, of course, there's a gap. But compared to, like, a bridge between Zoro and Luffy versus everybody else, I think Chopper would be that first person after the gap. Because diseases in themselves have shown to be oppositions. Like, I mean, because we haven't got there yet, but there are some diseases that aren't man-made that people have made to take out people, and Chopper's being the one that has to learn how to defend those or how to cure those. But that's
still indirect.
Yeah, but more direct than everyone else.
The only two that are, well, like, then Nico would be in third place, though, because she has to go through the world government to do all the poneglyphs.
But she already had that going on before she became a part of Luffy's crew, though.
That's true, but, like, she still has to, like, if we're
because what is hers? She just wants to learn the Void Century history,
which is illegal.
Yeah, but everyone else,
punishable.
We're not finding out the history from her, though. We're finding out from other people who are discovering the history. Why I say Chopper would be next is because it's only going to be up to him to cure those diseases. If he can't find out how to cure those diseases, then he's done. Because it's not Robin that's revealing that to us. I guess it depends
if there's a poneglyph on Laugh-Tale.
I mean,
because there's a poneglyph on Laugh-Tale, or Laugh-Tale. I keep calling it Laugh-Tale because that's what early One Piece calls it.
They still do.
But But not like on the actual log post. Doesn't it say Laugh Tale?
Well, the log post only, it doesn't, like,
The one
they
that
put it
Luffy
on the
breaks?
map. They had, when they came out and they did like a little map, they calling it Laugh Tale on the map. But
Yeah. I just, because like the last few times they've said it in the show at this point, they just keep calling it Raftel. But if there's like a poneglyph and they have to read the poneglyph to do stuff, then it would make, so I think that makes Robin third
How
place.
so?
But
because that's not even a direct opposition to nothing. Like,
well,
it's
if you
just
think
there.
about it, the poneglyphs existing are direct oppositions to the world government.
Yeah, but they're predictable. Like, because Robin already has the ability to read them. It's not like she has to do anything different. Like, if some reason I put Chopper thirds, because you think about, well, you ain't got to Wano yet, but Queen made an entire disease that turned people into ice ogres, and it would, like, contagious if they touch. And Chopper had to sit there and figure out how that worked. And that was like, literally, somebody else made this. You got to figure out how to stop it. In the poneglyphs thing, someone, yes, already made the poneglyphs, but Robin already knows how to read them. That's second nature to her. She doesn't have to learn anything else to read. Yeah, but she doesn't have to learn anything else. Like, her goal is literally finding things that already exist.
But she has to get through the world government and their dogs to read them.
Yeah, but that's what Luffy's already doing.
Yeah.
So that's why hers would be indirect, because her opposition comes to what Luffy has to go through with the crew. Luffy don't know nothing about medicine at all. Nobody else in that crew knows anything about medicine except Chopper. So in the cases they go against another enemy and that enemy drop another disease on them, only person on that crew that's going to be able to do anything about that is Chopper. And the only help he's going to get is from people who are also doctors that know stuff about it. That's why I say, like, when you're talking about opposition, because Luffy going to have to go against anybody that want to be Pirate King. Zoro going to have to go against anybody else that's just trying to be a better swordsman than him. And those are always going to be physical fights. They could die. In Chopper's case, yes, people could die, but it depends on the severity of what you're going against. But in the case of what you're going against, if there's a situation where everybody would die, you would have to know how to keep everybody alive. Of course, that's not direct opposition, because everybody's going to have to keep him safe, and Chopper's not going to be the one that's fighting. But in the same gap, like, yeah, Robin would...
I guess this is why. It's because Robin's... The reason I would put Robin in third there is because Robin actually has direct opposition, while Chopper is indirect opposition. Sure, her direct opposition is the world government, but the world government has and continues...
I mean, of import... Yeah, when you talk about, like, it being...
Because, like, remember, she... her, I guess for lack of a better word, her ethnic group was genocided, like 100%.
Yeah.
Like her the place where she's come from, they like nuked that shit from orbit type shit. Like, that's not how they did. That's just the meme. Like, they hammered on that shit from Gears of War, you know?
Yeah.
Like, that's what happened there. They got hit with the Hammer of Dawn, but that's why I would put Robin in third.
But that's still something that's already happened.
I know, but it's still direct opposition when everyone else's is indirect.
So when you're talking about opposition, how do you define opposition then? Because we're talking about, like, Luffy and them, it's going to be a new opposition every time.
I know, but they're direct opposite. That's what I like. I'm valuing direct opposition from one thing as more than indirect
but
opposition from
how are you
multiple
talking
things.
about direct? Because Queen was a direct opposition to Chopper, and like Don Q and Blackbeard Pirates would be a direct opposition to Chopper. These are people he's going to have to outthink and outdoctor in order to come to prevail. In Robin's case, the reason I have her third is because her being able to, or don't have her third, yeah, would be because her role in what her dream is doesn't require her to be physical and get in the way. It don't require her. That's why she can be stealthy and don't have to directly fight people. She can always go out of the, you know, the circle of things and be stealthy, looking for poneglyphs and other stuff, because all she has to do is read it and get out of there. That's why, like, in Chopper's case, we see it in the prison where they had to protect him in order for him to be able to do that. And in Wano, when they brought it back, he had to be protected and watched over, like, while he was doing that. So it's like he wants to be the best doctor. In order for him to do that, he gonna have to get his hands dirty a little bit. versus where Robin won't have to get her hands as dirty in order to go forward. It's like the opposite. Like she is the prize.
With that, if we're gonna go with that, it also depends, like in your framework, where the poneglyphs are.
But it still would
how
be
direct it is.
It still would be like where, if the crew even wants to go there.
I'm not. What I'm saying is, I'm not looking at it that way. I'm looking at it in the sense like, if the world government runs into Chopper, they'll be like, "Oh, he's got a bounty, get him." If the world government runs into Nico, it's she has the ability to destroy everything we stand for.
Yeah, of course. She's the prize. Like she is the one that literally is the biggest threat to everything, because she's the only person that can read the poneglyphs.
Yeah, that's why I put her a third.
Yeah, but that's not.
She's directly opposed to the world government, where Chopper is indirectly opposed to.
Because she's on the Pirate King's crew, who have the goal to get to Raftail, like, so they're all like moving forward. So the stuff that they'll encounter moving forward is the way I'm looking at it. Like, just Chopper, if there's a person who wants to use a chemical warfare on them, because that's where it comes with direct and indirect, because like everyone else on the crew won't have those, with their dreams being intact, won't have to prove themselves. Matter of fact, I could even put no, I can't say Usopp, because Usopp's still learning how to be a brave warrior, and he still doesn't know how to be a brave warrior.
Well,
it would be direct if he was trying to.
Because this tangent's kind of lasted 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really help conceptualize. I'm just gonna put like why I think it's Robin's requires more suffering for her to find meaning in it, when Chopper's requires less suffering to find meaning in it. It's probably the most Nietzschean way to put it. And that's why I think she's in third place. Cause like Luffy has to take the most suffering, Zoro has to take the second most. I'd put. Well, honestly, if we're gonna do it like that, Nico's probably taking the most suffering because she had to watch the One Piece version of the Holocaust, or not the Holocaust, the Armenian genocide. The One Piece version of the Armenian genocide. She had to watch it as a little kid. So she's probably the most fucked up.
No, I definitely agree with that.
But what I was getting at with all this stuff is Nietsche says you have to, like, you need to chase afterlife. Like, don't avoid suffering. Don't go for comfort. Comfort will just ruin you. It'll turn you into a last man over time. And that's, like, the reason that conceptualization matters, in my opinion, is because of the 7 Warlords of the Sea. And it comes up here because the 7 Warlord of the Sea, one of them, is the big bad guy for this chunk of episodes. This Crocodile. Crocodile. It's like 60 episodes. He's the main bad guy. I think it is total, because he's the main bad guy from meeting LeBlon to like 135. So it's almost 70 episodes of him being the big bad guy. Sure, we don't know his name for 5 of those.
Yeah.
But he's the big bad evil guy. He's the BBEG. The big bad evil guy.
Yeah, I heard it.
Like, it's still a D&D term. But like he's the bad guy, or to steal the Power Ranger memes, he's the bad guy of the week.
Yeah.
For this chunk of time. It's funny because it's like we say week, but it's a year's worth of episodes, or a year and a half worth of episodes.
Yeah.
Which honestly, the pacing for old One Piece when it was coming out had to be super annoying to people. But the thing about the 7 Warlords that I was thinking about is that they are basically, they're willing to put up with enough suffering to be comfortable and then stop. So like they reach a point where they're comfortable and they just stop. And like the emperors, if you think about it, the emperors are just like, no, that's stupid. I don't want to be comfortable. I want to keep going. You know what I mean? And that's why the emperors are so much more powerful than the warlords.
I can see that.
Or just not necessarily why they are, but it's a reason they could be. And I just thought that it was cool to see that Nietsche would be opposed to the warlords, just like our main characters are. And if Nietzsche's opposed to him, then the Ubermensch would be opposed to him. And our argument is that Luffy might be the first ever Ubermensch, or he might be slowly becoming the first ever Ubermensch. And then the fact that Nietsche would be like, yeah, I don't fuck with any of these guys that are against Luffy, then that just adds credence to that. But to get into the episodes, we just pick up in Drum Island after we just see it's just what's his name?
Here, look. The doctor.
Oh yeah, we get the finish of that, but I'm more so just looking at the stuff that like shows off Luffy's character for the most part.
Yeah, no, I know. I thought that's what you was about to say.
No, like we learn like Hair Luke's backstory, or we finish learning, but we see like the fight with Wapol and everything, and it's hilarious because Luffy just geeks out over Chopper the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, oh my god, Chopper's so cool.
Like, I think Chopper's the first crew member that Luffy, like, wholeheartedly from the beginning wanted to join and would not pass up on it.
Well, remember, he wanted Zoro as soon as he learned what
Zoro's like, you know, there was some conversation there.
Well, also, it's the thing about Chopper, I think it is, it's because they, like, hit home on it a lot.
Yes.
It's that Chopper reminds Luffy of himself.
Yes.
That he's a monster. Because, like, they keep saying, like, he's just like Sanji says it.
Yes.
He's just like, so what's with Luffy or whatever?
Yeah, why is he all stretchy? Why is he all this? And he just says, because he's a monster.
Yeah. Like, it's like not just his strength, but like his characterization and his devil.
Like, he fit in just so perfectly that it was like the story itself put Chopper in the Straw Hats already before Luffy and them put him there.
But also, like, we learned when he was a kid, he was like a monster of a kid.
Yeah.
Like, he was able to beat like grown men,
the whole actual village pirates
and stuff. Yeah, when he was a little kid. Like, post meeting Shanks, like when he trained with his brothers and everything, when he became brothers with his brothers.
Yep.
He was like fighting like tigers and shit in the wild as a little kid. Like, so like Luffy's legitimately like a monster of a person.
And then you take that with Chopper, and he's literally like fending for his life the whole time.
Or he's a person of a monster.
Yeah, that's even better.
So they're like the opposite each other.
Monster of a person.
Luffy's a monster pretending to be a man, and Chopper's a man pretending to be a monster.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Also, when are we going to get confirmation that the human fruit is a mythical zone fruit? Because I felt like it has to be a mythical zone fruit.
I mean, at this point, it should be, because that was the theory to which why Chopper's bounty is always so low throughout the whole story. They think it's going to come up like Chopper just going to do something so absurd that it's just going to be like, why the hell we had his bounty so low? And I think that is it, because actually, I don't know if you want to go into the theory now, but during the time skip, when Chopper like went over to the people, those people who with the birds, when the post time skip his kung fu point or the fight point, whichever one, he looks just like those people that he just left. So the theory is Chopper's human fruit is actually he's able to turn into like any one of the races in the world. And it makes sense. So far we got...
So it would be broken if one of his points is Buccaneer Point.
Lunarian Point. So you don't know about Lunarians.
I know what Lunarian are. That's part of my whole theory of what the devil fruit tree is, remember?
I didn't know Lunarians were integral part of that.
They're the demigods.
Well, yeah. That could work. But nah, the Lunarians would be the overpowered ones right now.
But also, we don't know if they're human or like above human.
No, but they're a race in the world. That's the whole thing.
Well, if he could be like any race of a world, then he could have like a minx form, which I guess would be his seventh form if you think about it.
Yeah,
where he's technically, like the giant.
Technically, like he would already be a mink, by definition. Like of what a mink is, he'd already be that.
I guess, like, yeah, But
no, you're right. Like
his like actual mink form would probably be the giant form that he doesn't go very often.
Yeah, the monster point.
Yeah, monster point. I couldn't remember the name of it.
Yeah, no, I could definitely see that.
Yeah,
definitely see that.
But like, just because it's it being a human fruit, that just feels like it should be a mythical zone.
So
just
I'd
based
be ready
on
for it. I'd be ready for
just
it.
based on what
all it does.
Not just what makes a mythical zone fruit. Like the mythical zones fruits we've seen so far,
they're like two
Divine
types
Dog,
in one.
Divine Dog, the Phoenix,
Yep.
the Sea Serpent, I can't remember the actual name for Kaidos.
Dragon, fish.
Fish.
Azure Dragon model.
Yeah. Gomu Gomu no Mi.
Hito.
What else? There's another mythical that I'm missing. Because Yamato's Divine Dog, it's like two at the same time. It's like she's like a werewolf with lightning.
Kaidos, Yamato's, Luffy's, Marco's. Yeah, we are missing one.
Yeah, because Marco can like use like
he's
almost Logia style.
He's Logia-esque.
Yeah.
Oh my God, there is one more.
There's one more. I just can't think. Or no. There's two more, but I think one of them's like a filler thing, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, one of them is a filler. But I'm thinking about the last canon one because it wouldn't be.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be.
Crap! I'm trying to remember what it was because it's not laid on in the show. It's.
Yeah, it's bothering me. Sengoku. Sengoku's a mythical zone.
Because I know
the gold Buddha.
That's it. Yeah. I'm just like it's like Sengoku's or some shit. I couldn't remember his name.
Sengoku.
The non-canon one I'm thinking of is the Nine-Tailed Fox one.
That's his canon. But it's not the one you're thinking about.
No, there's one that's like that's from a movie that's like Nine-Tailed Fox thing.
Well, they have one, but I don't know if it's the same one. I might be thinking of it.
I just remember it being from a movie because I was like, I wonder, does this fruit exist? And I looked it up and it was like in a movie.
Oh, Stronger. The horse in Blackbeard Pirates is one.
What is he?
Horse type fruit model Pegasus.
Okay, a pet. So, but like a human fruit, that just feels like a mythical zone fruit. Because like, it just, from nature of what the human fruits are, not the human, but the nature of it.
You're right. Katarina Devon, she has the Kyuubi.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a mythical zone. So you just blew me with that one. I didn't know that.
I just knew it because I was just like, I wonder if there's one like that's the Nine-Tailed Fox from Shinto mythology.
So apparently,
so I googled it.
There's more than that.
yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Oh my God, what? Oh man, we're gonna have to go in that.
But
later.
a lot of them are not canon.
Nah, so far all the ones I'm seeing are. This is all show because you got Kaido's, then you got Ushimaru, which is the dude that fights Zoro with all the blades.
Well, we know that what's it called? We know that the Ghost Story. I keep wanting to call him Gosei. They're all mythical something. They might
There's
not.
something. They haven't even said if they have devil fruits or not yet. That hasn't even been said yet.
But like,
it's
I
leaning
be
towards
shocked
them. It's leaning towards them not being devil fruits at all, just being the actual devils themselves. That's what it's leaning towards because of the names they gave them. They named them after their actual yokai, their forms.
Yeah, but there's mythical zoans that are yokais.
Like what?
I can't remember the name, but I remember seeing some mythical zone fruits that are yokais.
I ain't seen none on this list so far.
No, the Kyuubi's a yokai. I think the Nine-Tailed Fox is a yokai. Because yokai is like, it doesn't mean what everyone thinks it means. It just means like nature spirit.
Yeah.
Like a yokai is just a supernatural
But
entity.
no, they actually gave the Gorosei actual names of like, because they haven't said that they have devil fruits. Because Oda's writing, every time he introduces somebody with a devil fruit, he tells us what that devil fruit is upon their entry.
Yeah, the Kitsune is a yokai.
Okay. But that's the only one.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like, that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head.
But that's the only one that's a yokai that's been mentioned in this list. Unless you want to say Orochi is one, because Yamato no Orochi. Yeah, he's a mythical.
That's... It's probably technically a yokai, like if you want to use like the most technical like definition of the, but it's closer to like the Hydra from Greek mythology.
Well,
it's just like
because the dude who fought Zoro, they calling him a monk yokai. So I don't know. You might be right,
but it's just like
they haven't
yokai
said that
have
about
so
the
much
Gorosei at all.
Like the yokai just have so. Oh, you know the other. It's not confirmed that it's a mythical zone, but the one that we forgot was Dragon.
No, we don't even know. Like
it's implied that he's a mythical.
No, they just implied that he's really strong. I ain't said nothing about him.
He can control storms. Okay, the odds are it's a mythical zone.
So why, if that's the case, then why wouldn't Kizaru be a mythical? He can control light. It's stronger than controlling the storm. He's not mythical.
Well, it's not a mythical zone, but he might end up being a mythical zone based on what his attacks are.
Dude, I would hope he is.
No, I'm just based on his attack. Hold up.
We haven't seen any of his attacks. We haven't even seen him fight yet. We've only seen things that he's done that's implied that he can do. We haven't seen him fight yet.
No, I'm saying like the attacks that he, like the names of his attacks.
There are no names of the attacks yet. We haven't had any of that yet.
I'm not talking about Dragon. I'm talking about Kizaru.
So like what?
Like the names, like he names them after Buddhist stuff.
Yeah.
Like, so what I'm saying is I wouldn't be surprised if
he's not.
I know it's not.
So what you mean not be surprised he's not?
No. I'm saying I wouldn't be, because like we thought that Luffy's for the longest time.
But he's the only one. He's the only one that's been proven to not be what it's called, and that's because of a reason that's far deeper than what his actual fruit is. Like we're finding out that he was.
No, I'm not saying it is that. I'm saying I wouldn't be surprised if there's more.
No,
like that.
What I'm telling you is that you would have to have another reason to why there would be those fruits to names to be changed. It makes sense for Luffy's Gomu Gomu to not be changed because of the danger it posed to the world government. But for them to do that to somebody else, you would have to give a reason as to why they would change the name, because the Glint Glint flute's already in the hands of somebody that's on their side. Why would they need to change the name?
No, I'm not saying
one?
like they should or anything. I'm just saying in the universe of One Piece, I wouldn't be surprised if any of the fruits aren't what they sound like on the surface, is what I'm getting at. Not necessarily that I think it is. It just wouldn't surprise me if Oda's just
But it wouldn't be, but context clues
is.
Would make to where Kizaru's wouldn't be one of those. Because
probably not. It's just like the naming conventions. His naming conventions.
If they would have come out and make it one of them, it would make a reason why it's just.
But also,
so
like the names of his attacks are weird that they're light based.
I can see that.
You know what I mean? Like it's weird that they're light based, because like the concepts that they're named after don't have a ton to do with light. It's more so just like Oda likes those words, so he used them.
I couldn't tell you right now.
But, yeah, so. But, also, like, light in the One Piece universe is so much weaker than it is in our universe. Like, it's not even funny. Like, there's people that can keep up with his attack. Like, let's just go to the start. Like, before time skip, Riley ran down one of Kizaru's attacks.
He didn't run it down. He caught him before he could shoot it.
But he's not, like, right next to him is what I'm getting at. Yeah. He not, like, knocks one of them away.
No, he kicked his leg away. He didn't knock the beam itself away.
The implication, though, is that Kizaru is light, so therefore he would move at the speed of light if it acts like it does in real life. But Riley's, like, able to get there and then move his foot out the way.
But
Riley doesn't move.
He wasn't, like, moving at the time. He stopped an attack. And Kizaru, it's his personality that makes it to why it's slower, because he likes playing with them. Like that's why he talks slow. He like, you don't understand. Like there's a reason he talks like that, because it's playful nature. And in that moment, he was literally like exerting his power to the point where he believes the Straw Hats can't do nothing. So he's just like, you can't stop me, and he's just destroying stuff. So like if he was actually trying, because we see the difference in when he's actually going for the kill. When Luffy and them see him again later, we see the difference. Like he's doing different stuff. But you're right. Like if he was actually doing it by light, he should have been able to shoot that without Rayleigh have to get close enough. You're right. But
well, it's not like Marco was able to, during Marineford, was able to dodge a couple of the hits and stuff like that. Yeah. Also, it didn't matter if Marco dodged him or not because when he's in Phoenix form, he's basically a Logia.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know if he's basically a Logia or if it's just like how a Phoenix is. Like the fire on him just heals him. That. Yeah. But like, people are able to dodge his attacks. So clearly the light's not as fast as it is in real life. Yeah. Where it's not quite instant, but it takes 8 minutes to get from the sun to here.
But he also, I mean, I ain't going to go into it because I know it's probably like, but, you know, like certain attacks that he does, I feel like he's not really using it as like the actual screen of like light going in. I think it's more like key blasts and stuff from Dragon Ball, the way it looks.
That's
and
probably
the way it
how
feels.
he.
And that's the way
by
he
I mean Oda.
Yeah,
it's probably
and like
he's
but
a
his
huge
movements
Dragon Ball fan.
though, like there are things that Kizaru does do that are light based, like some movement thing he does where he literally can turn himself into light and just go. Like he has shown being able to move like that, but
he's not as fast as light.
Yeah, it's not. He's not doing it.
Or let me rephrase. He's not as fast as our actual conceptualization of light. Yeah. Where it's like, what is the speed of light again? Because if he was, he could have went to Laugh Tale like 15 times over. Because the speed of light is... Let me get you the actual speed of light. It is 299,792,458 meters per second.
No, like I do.
Doesn't move anywhere that fast.
He doesn't do that. Like I think he really just tries to just play with his people. But like I said, I can't go into what Oda actually was trying to do with Kizaru.
Also, Kizaru's thing could also be that it's called Glant fruit, and like it's light, but it's not light as in we normally think. He could just mean like the energy.
Yep.
But that still moves at the speed of light, so it's like.
I don't, because it's the way that Kizaru fights is why I think he's not trying to. Because I mean, through the 2 times, because we've only had one real fight from him, and that's him versus Luffy now in Egghead. That's in the mangas. Because up in Saba Odi, them really wasn't fights. He was just trying to. He just throwing things.
Heard that a celestial dragon got punched.
Like he's just there to just quell the situation. Yeah. Like. Versus where it is now, like the way using a sword to fight. The dude has freaking light clones that he can do. We see that he has like flight potential, like movement in the air potential. Because I don't want to call it flight, but it was. But
he's not like Goku, where he's like flying at the speed of light.
Yeah, like I don't think it's so much as him as speed wise. I think it's more of the entity itself. That's more of the thing.
Well, the entity itself has the speed.
No, I don't mean
no,
it like that.
I'm saying like in real life.
Yeah, but this is not real life.
No. But I'm saying like when people hear light, that's what.
But this is not real life. Yeah. Like we can't take real life aspects and put them in a fiction. That would just take.
You could take like gravity. It's in fiction.
I mean, but gravity is altered too. Like we see it in Dragon Ball, they alter gravity to make themselves stronger.
Yeah, but I'm saying like the concept still, and
I mean, the like concepts, things with, but like the actual Earth's measurements, gravity. Though, like the actual specifics of things, we'll never understand.
If I remember correctly, Earth and Dragon Ball Z has our Earth's.
But when they get to altering, when they end up saying we're doing 10 times Earth's gravity,
special.
Those special. Like we're always going to get away from the fictional aspect in fiction.
Well, what's it called? We'll probably be able to do that soon. Because we can make people lighter in rooms,
bruh.
Like low gravity rooms.
That they messing with those.
But yeah, that was a long tangent on different. It started as like you think the human fruit is a mythical zone. So basically, we just get Luffy geeking out over. He thinks all the devil fruit powers are cool, even if it's in enemies.
Yep.
Like he thinks they're dope.
Just like the Wizard King with magic.
Yeah. And I would imagine Roger was similar.
Yes.
Like we don't have a ton of characterization of him.
No, we have a good example to that. You're right. with how he treated Odin in the flashback. Yeah, still, that's what I say. But
So,
nah, he likes
probably-
fighting. He likes a beast. That's what he called it. He likes
So
to see
he
a
probably
beast.
like anything that looks cool. Like
Yeah.
that's how Luffy is. Anybody that's attacked looks cool. He's just like, dude.
Yeah, because that's why that's why Whitebeard is Roger's rival. Because Roger feels like the only person that could stand to him is Whitebeard.
Because he had the strongest paramecium attack.
Yeah.
When are we gonna learn what the strongest Logia and strongest Zoan are?
I mean,
well, I guess the implication is that Luffy
yeah,
has the
the
strongest
implication.
Zoan.
Yeah,
That's
the
the
implication.
implication.
The strongest Logia is probably the implication is Blackbeard, unless Emu has some crazy Logia or something like that. But
Well, also Blackbeard acts like a paramecium, not a Logia, but it's a Logia. It's weird.
yeah, because like his Logia isn't the fact that it goes through him; it's just he mitigates the damage
What if it
he
is?
takes.
What if his thing? Because we were talking about the thing that makes the mythical so special is like they're like a Zoan fruit with abilities from other fruits. Because like the Nomu no Mi or Gomu Gomu no Mi, I guess the implication was people thought it was either a paramecium or a Logia type.
Yeah, they've masked it as a Paramecia type.
Yeah, but what if like it gives you the abilities of another thing? Like Marco, he's like a Logia fruit, but he's a Zoan. Like he has the aspects of it. What if there's mythical Logia types? And so it's a.
I ain't know though. I can't tell you.
It's a. So what if it's a mythical Logia type, and that's why he's able to do that? You know, like that the dark fruit is able to. It has like paramecium qualities while being a Logia, or like Luffy's. It has paramecium type qualities while being a Zoan. Maybe there's mythicals everything.
Could be. I wouldn't be opposed to that.
And what if the Trimmer fruit? What if the Trimmer fruit is a mythical type paramecium fruit?
At this point, the only name change that makes sense that it wasn't originally said that is the Gomu Gomu because of what it is. Like at this point, I can't say that something else is a name change because it wouldn't make sense.
No, I'm just saying like they could have, like there's mythical Zoan fruits, so like in my head, it makes sense that there's a classification above normal. It doesn't have to be mythical. You know what? Or mystical. What is it? Is it mythical or mystical? Mythical. Yeah. It makes sense to be mythical because they're like mythical creatures that don't exist, but they exist in the world of One Piece. But, if there's a classification of paramecium above normal parameciums, or Logias above normal Logias, like there's the flame fruit, but I wouldn't be shocked if there's like a blue fire fruit that's stronger. You know what I mean? Or you could see like the magma fruit. What's its name?
Yeah, Sakazuki's.
Yeah, I don't remember its name.
I don't know. I think it's magma something. I don't think they.
But right, it looks like a pepper.
I haven't seen it.
It's like in the Marineford episode, like they show like a fruit, like they like show the guys, and then they show like a picture of their fruit.
I just know it's like magma, lava, or something like that. It just
but
has to do
like
with magma.
It'd make sense if that is like the upgraded version of the flame fruit, you know? Because what's it called?
Because it's still a Logia.
Yeah, it's just like something that it made me think about, but. Oh yeah, I forgot. The first thing that happens when the episode 86 starts is that Chopper locks Luffy in a cage.
Yeah.
Which is funny, and then Luffy immediately breaks out.
Yep, can't hold him. Can't hold him at all.
What did I write here? I can't read that word. Oh yeah, Dalton says something about Drum Island that I think goes really well into the characterization of Luffy from this point. It's Dalton says that there's no medicine that can cure fools. Talking about like Wapple and how his country's not worth saving. Luffy can't stand Wapol and is excited to fight him.
And
but he waits.
I know in right when the fight was about to start, he mentions how before that the only reason he didn't take Wapol out the first times, he was more worried about saving Nami and his crew. And it's like someone who loves to fight as much as Luffy would put that aside in order to save his crew.
It's funny that he loves to fight so much, but he never learned actually how to.
Yeah.
He just learned how to use his Gomu. He just like he says it later. He operates off pure instinct. It's just what feels right since he was a kid. Since the time when he was a little kid, he just does what feels right in battle.
Yep.
Which is stupid.
Yeah, very much so.
And it just showed, like, once he actually learns how to fight later on,
it's completely night and day. It's how he was fighting before.
But also it goes into the fact that he never took the time to fight is actually a story beat in this part of the story. Because Crocodile's chastising for it. He's just like, you never learned how to fight. You just use a bunch of gimmicks and it gets you through because you're so naturally strong. Like, just calls that boy out.
Like, straight out.
I love the thing where Sanji calls Luffy a monster. Yep. Like Sanji tells Chopper it's almost like he's a monster. And Chopper's just like, wait, he's just like me?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I love that Luffy refuses to take Nami's jacket at first because it's girly. That just made me laugh a little bit. Or chuckle. Yeah, Luffy even geeks out over Wapol's power, even though he can't stand Wapol.
Yeah, he was able to just straight eat whatever he wants.
And then there's the pirate flag thing. We get a good bit of Luffy's character. He says, well, first, Wapol knocks the flag down, and then Luffy grabs it and says, you guys aren't real pirates, you're just faking it, weren't you? That's why you don't know what flying a pirate flag means, because you were just a bunch of fakes who didn't risk your lives. And then Wapol claims pirate flags don't have actual meaning, and Luffy says, if you think that, then you are dumber than you look. Because Wapol does look pretty dumb.
Pretty fucking stupid. Let's go and get that out the way. Looks pretty dumb. Like, low-tier character design. Listen,
pirate flags stand for something big mouth. They're not raised as some kind of joke. Do your worst. You can't break this flag. I told you can't break it. I have no idea whose pirate flag this is or who this pirate flag originally belonged to, but it doesn't matter. A pirate's flag is someone's pledge to risk their life. It's not something to laugh at. It stands for something you jackasses will never understand in a million years. It won't break ever because the skull on it is a symbol of faith. And then he ties it back to the mast before he can back to the... Or no, actually he doesn't tie it that time. He just stabs it into the actual roof.
Yep. And it's crazy because seeing that is what wowed Chopper about Luffy, but it also goes back to what Hero Look put into Chopper about a pirate flag. Hero Look told Chopper that anything is possible for a man that flies a pirate flag.
And then you go on a fight like a pirate and everything.
Yep. So, like, pirates themselves were already so gassed for Chopper, and then seeing Luffy, like, what you talking about? Flag don't mean nothing. And then it
means everything.
Everything. That's life.
And then we get Luffy just absolutely geeks out over Chopper, and Chopper's just like, oh, it's no big deal. Like he does every time someone compliments him.
Every time somebody compliments and acts like it's not a big deal. And then in reality it is.
And then the whole Rumble Ball thing, and Luffy geeks out even harder. And then we have Nami traps Luffy because he messed up her jacket. And then Luffy beats Wapol handedly. He like just plays with Wapol the whole time. Like some other stuff happens with Wapol, but it doesn't really matter. He just beats Wapol. That's all that matters.
Yep. Just beat the mess out of him. Not even no contact.
Because he's already said the stuff that like matters for his for our argument. Luffy spends like the entire episode chasing Chopper, trying to introduce him to the rest of the Straw Hats. The big thing is, like in his head, we keep hearing Chopper think like I would love to go with them, but I can't leave this place. This is my home. I can't go to sea. It'd be bad if I went to sea. But the implication is Luffy understands that's what Chopper wants, but Chopper's just too scared to go. But Luffy gets that he'd be a perfect fit for the crew because no one thinks Chopper's weird. And that's what Chopper's so afraid of.
Yeah, he's afraid of everybody thinking he's a monster, thinking he's going to kill him. He just wants be around people that knows he's not going to do any of that stuff.
And then he eventually joins the crew. There's a whole thing with Dr. Reen where Dr. Reen pretends that she doesn't want him there.
Same thing like Hero looked at.
Yeah. And then the thing that I completely forgot about this, but it's funny, it's Luffy had no clue that Chopper was a doctor. He just thought his power was so cool that he wanted him to join.
Yep, he said that.
It's like, yeah, Chopper's a world-class doctor. Nami says Chopper's a world-class, and he's just like, he is? What a coincidence. She's like, you didn't know? He's just like, no. I thought he was just
a super cool reindeer monster who's going to join my crew.
Yeah, I just thought he was cool. That's the whole...
Yep. He wasn't even looking for a doctor. I think Luffy's been more... finding a musician was more important to him than finding a doctor.
The most important thing to him, which I even wrote that down, because he keeps saying it. Because the first thing he was just like, "We need a musician," and it's just like, "No, you idiot, we need a cook."
Yeah, when Sanji came aboard, I definitely remember that.
And then there's a flashback Dalton has about the first time he met Vivi. And the important thing is it shows that the world government, like how much it sucks, because most people are like on Wapple's side, or like Wapple, like they're dressed like too decadently and everything, and like too prim and proper. But like Cobra's just wearing what we learn is just normal clothes.
Yeah.
For like his
for the people in Alabasta.
Yeah, he's not wearing anything kingly. Like the most regal thing about him is his really stupid soul patch. Because it's technically a soul patch. Yeah. But we learned that the world government is super shitty and out of touch with the modern populace. We learned there's a man hunting Blackbeard that knows Luffy, whose name is Ace.
Yep.
That's not going to be important at all.
No.
There's no way that he's going to be the driving point for the next, 700 episodes. Or... There's no way that he's one of the most important characters in the entire show. The thing that shows Luffy that he needs to get better and forces Luffy to improve beyond anybody's ever improved in the history of the universe, of the show's universe. There's no way he's that important, you know? Dr. Reen says, this is another person that says that Luffy really reminds him of Roger because she knew Roger at one point.
Yep. She definitely did.
They were probably fucking. I'm just kidding. Roger's actually is 100% into monogamy, and we learned that in about 600 episodes. No, it's not even. It's 500 episodes from now. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Roger falls completely in love with one woman. Remember, it's an entire plot point.
No, I'm lost.
You don't remember? That's the entire thing that's happening in Marineford. It's because...
That wasn't the entire thing.
Well, it was the result of the entire...
There was big news that it came out that Ace was...
Yeah.
But saying that he believed in monogamy, that's totally not the same thing. You can have a kid and not be monogamous.
No, but I'm saying, when we get the flashback, the monogamy thing was just a joke, but when we get the flashback, we see that he was fully in love with this woman. The monogamy thing was just a joke. Because there's not, the reason it's the jokes there is because there's not a bunch of Blackbeard babies running around. You know? And then the Porkis lady, because that's her last name, she's special. She holds him in the womb for 2.5 years or 3 years or some shit.
You know why, don't you?
Yeah, because they're all looking for a baby that was born before Roger died. Or within 9 months of Roger's death.
Yep.
Yeah, so she uses all of her powers. And so it makes him be born as a massive fucking baby. But that we'll get to that in like 6 months, guys. Don't worry, we're gonna get to that and we're gonna laugh at it because it is kind of ridiculous, but it is also sad. But also, like, hold up, that tells us how old Luffy is actually if we do the math.
They tell us how old Luffy is. We don't need to do the math.
No, I'm saying, like, at the moment, we don't know his exact age, but that actually tells us the exact age. So, that makes Ace 20 at the time of his death. Or 21 at the time of his death.
Ace is 19 at the time of his death.
He's 19?
He's only 2 years older than Luffy. Realize, Luffy's adventure is not a long time.
Yeah.
Like, the most time that passes is the 2 years that they in the time skip.
No, what I'm saying is, so it's like,
because he went to sea at 17.
okay, so he was 17.
Ace, both of them go to sea at 17. That was the whole thing.
Man, Luffy looks like he's 12 in the first episode.
Yeah.
I remember we were making jokes about it.
No, he does, but they tell him he's 17.
I couldn't remember his exact age.
They tell us all that.
What else do we see? Luffy's hyped to fight Crocodile. We learn Crocodile because we get a scene of Crocodile helping the people deal with pirates, and he's just actually pretending to help them because he just wants them to worship him like a hero.
They already do. They were calling him the savior and everything. The village Alabastan people already see him as a savior. And it's crazy because they see him as a savior when he's the one messing up everything.
Yeah, like half the shit is like he did.
Literally, the reason they're not getting any water is literally his fault. Like,
because he's hoarding it all.
Yep.
Also, when they're trapped under the casino, that's fresh water, right?
I don't know.
Because there's crocodiles swimming in it. Or no, they're not crocodiles, they're alligators. I believe.
I mean, I would hope.
Don't they call them banana gators?
I don't know.
But they can swim in salt water. So, like, they don't have to be in fresh water. Neither of them do. They can both be in salt water. They both are found in both. But it's just because he doesn't lose, like, he can't swim in it, right? Like, Luffy can't swim in it.
Yeah.
Neither can Smoker. They just sink in it. But we had the theory that maybe it was something to do with salt that did it. But if it's freshwater, they still lose their power. But also, what if it's just the fact that they're in water that has sea prism stone in it too, and that we don't? It's very. I want to know if Luffy will drown if he takes a bath that's too big. Now. Because remember, at the start of it, he's like running around
you
like,
love
oh my
tangents
God.
Today, don't you?
Yeah, he's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then he just gets so tired once the water gets to a certain height that his head just falls back. And I just remember the scene because it's funny. When they finally get to Alabasta, Vivi's just like, thank y'all so much for bringing me here, deuces. And Luffy's just like, where the hell do you think you're going? She's like, I'm going to talk to the people. And it's just like, no, we're helping you stop Crocodile. We find out that Ace Dude from earlier is Luffy's big brother. Oh yeah, there's a good thing from Ace that I like when the guy's trying to sell the apple that makes you immortal. And Ace says, thanks, but no thanks. I'm not really all that interested in living a life for 1,000 years.
Living today is just fine.
Is good enough. Yeah.
Living today is just fine. I wrote that too.
Because they have very similar outlooks on life. Like, they don't act the exact same, but they have similar outlooks on life. Like, they both want someone to be the Pirate King.
No, I actually think they are more alike than they are different.
Yeah, they're more alike than they are different. But there's like, well, if to be brothers with someone, you have to be more alike than you are different. Like, to be that close with someone.
I'm talking about like, but it's a lot of things that are damn near the same. Like, because eventually Luffy seeks to be like Ace in everything that he does. So it's like, because they both eat a crazy amount. Just Luffy would never fall asleep in the middle of his food, whereas Ace would. The ideals of power that they have, they kind of see power the same thing. But I don't think Ace ever had hockey. That was one thing I wish Oda would have.
Yeah,
did.
he dies before.
But nah, like between just how both of them kind of Ace, I think like says exactly what he feels more than Luffy does. Like, 'cause I think Luffy would have did the exact same thing, given the apple that made him 1,000 years. I just don't think he would have said it. If that makes sense, I don't think he would have told him that. Nah, living today is just fine.
Luffy would have eaten it because he likes apples. He would have wanted to know if it tastes different than a normal apple. He wouldn't have given a fuck about the 1,000 years.
Yeah, like that wouldn't have been a factor to him. He's just hungry and would have ate it.
Smoker shows up. Luffy ignores Smoker to eat. Ace and Smoker, we see that Ace is stronger than Luffy because Smoker doesn't matter to him, and it's implied that like Smoker's trying, but Ace isn't fully trying.
Yeah.
In the thing.
Yeah.
Like that's what it's implied, at least. Luffy and Ace arm wrestle, and we see that Luffy and Ace, at least physically, are pretty close to equal because they just shattered the barrel that they're doing it on top of.
Yep.
Ace tries to recruit Luffy and the Straw Hats into joining his division of Whitebeard.
He's not doing it.
Nope. But also, it's not only that he's not doing it, he also says that he looks forward to battling Whitebeard.
Yeah, he said that literally right after it, like it was nothing. Literally says, and Luffy says all this. You know, Ace says, hey, why don't you and your crew come join us on the Whitebeard Pirates? And Luffy's like, nah, I'm good. He's like, Ace just like, damn, that sucks. And Luffy just says, yep, we'll just have to fight.
Yeah, and I love that, like, he would know who Whitebeard is. And so, he doesn't know Shanks is stronger than Whitebeard at this point. But, so all he knows is that Whitebeard's the strongest, and Luffy's just like, if I want to be king of the pirates, I'm eventually going to have to fight
like,
Whitebeard.
Not even shuddering, not even flinching, not even, like, hesitating in his words. Just straight up say, yep, we're going to have to fight.
Yeah. And the implication is that he's mentally prepared to fight Whitebeard, which is hilarious.
And then the way Ace responded, like Ace just came out and said, you respect this dude so much, and your brother said he's going to fight him. And that was like, whoa. Like,
Ace is just like,
gonna say nothing?
My brother's crazy.
Yep.
Ace is just like, oh, God.
But I actually think Ace believes that he can do it.
Well, I think Ace believes that he would do it. But they all know that, like, Luffy doesn't know he would fail, but Ace knows that Luffy would get his butt kicked.
With the respect that he has. But
But
it's
also,
not like Ace will try to stop him.
I think Ace knows that Blackbeard would like Luffy a lot, too.
Whitebeard?
Yeah, because remember, Whitebeard likes Luffy a lot. He's just like...
He puts his impression on him almost.
Yeah, he's like, this is the best young man that the pirate scene has had since, like, Roger. This kid's pretty good. This is a good kid. I like him, you know? Like, in Marineford, he's just like, damn, he reminds me of Roger. Like, that's the entire thing that's happening in Marineford, is Whitebeard is just like, damn, being a pirate's in good hands. What's it called? Luffy once again states that he wants to find a musician for his ship. It's like the third time in 10 episodes. I wonder if they're ever gonna find a musician. When he blows up all those ships, the billion ships that attack them, Ace does, Usopp says Big Brother of Monsters is an even bigger monster. Ace is an absolute stand-up dude. He's like, the other thing, he's much less selfish than Luffy.
He's also more formal.
Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, Luffy's all about, like, what he's after.
Yeah, what he's after, what he wants.
But Ace is not like that. Like, Ace's entire dream is to help somebody else accomplish his dream. So, if that idea that I had about the new hockey system, if it's a new hockey system, Ace probably would have mastered the crap out of it, which makes it even sadder that we never got to see him do it. Because, like, so, there's the thing. Ace is probably the best person in the show. Like, just from, like, you know what I mean? Like, from an actual person basis.
That was the whole point.
Like
his introduction, the way that he was with the crew, and how he handled like everything going forward. Like he literally, the only reason he's going after Blackbeard is because Blackbeard was a part of his division. And I feel like if Blackbeard wasn't in Ace's division, he wouldn't have cared about Blackbeard.
Well,
Not in the sense of like not caring, but no, he was his commander.
Yeah.
So that was the only reason he's going after him. And when you look at that versus literally, because how we get Ace portrayed after he actually like dies and stuff, it's just so like he looks to be like bigger than life is the way they make him, versus everybody who we see that had a run-in with him, versus even when Dressrosa, like his fruit just being the center of like everything. Like everyone feels like if I get this fruit, then I'll be able to take over everything. And it's just like everything that Ace was portrayed was just make it to us like he was the best character that could have like really came out of everything. Like even Saba, like bro, it's just so much. Like,
well, like when I say the best, I mean like as a like it's between him and Shanks and Garp as to who is just the best person in the show. You know what I mean? Like
character wise,
not like character wise, but like if we'd say like, man, that guy's a good dude, just because he's like a benevolent, not like good dude. Like,
and it'd be Whitebeard
or Whitebeard. But I think Ace is a better person than Whitebeard because he would have done the same thing Whitebeard did, except for I think he would have done even more.
You do realize that Ace takes a lot of his character from Whitebeard, right?
Yeah, like he learned it from White. It's like he took the teachings from Whitebeard and like turned it up more.
But if Whitebeard doesn't exist, those teachings don't happen. So it's Whitebeard.
I don't like that.
It's the truth, though.
No, but I'm saying
like if Shanks doesn't exist, Luffy doesn't exist.
Yeah, but that fact doesn't make Shanks a better person than Luffy. It's the fact that how
for
Shanks,
what we're talking about, it would. Like, who's a better person is like, that's a good dude, like all around. They didn't get, like, that's something that if Shanks got the idea from being better from Luffy, then it would matter. But everything Luffy wants to be in a pirate is from Shanks. So that's, you can't say Luffy's better than Shanks because he got all his stuff from Shanks. Like,
you can learn to be a good person from a person, but you can still surpass how good of a person they are.
Well, exactly. So when we're talking about Whitebeard,
and then we see like the entire time that like we're not in Marineford yet, but the entire time it's happening, Ace is just like, all Ace is worried about is that his crew and Luffy don't get hurt. That's the only thing he cares about. Like, he's on death's door. He's been beaten and everything. He's been trapped in sea prison foam, so he's basically been like strung up with kryptonite and beaten shit for
at least 48 hours, like a week.
It might even be longer than that.
But still, like, you think about,
because he went straight from getting beat by Blackbeard to that moment. But what I'm saying is just, like, the entire time, that's all he's worried about. Like, that's all he cares about, is that the people that he cares about are good. Like, he doesn't care. And also, like, the moment that he perishes, like, he's, like, pushing Luffy out the way. Like, he makes sure he gets hit by it. That way Luffy doesn't. Yeah. Even though Luffy's trying to make sure he gets hit by it and not Ace, sort of thing. But it's just, he's, like, up there as the best dudes. Like, just, I don't necessarily mean, because best character, like an asshole character could be the best character, but just the best quality of character.
Yeah, I still would give it to Whitebeard. Because Whitebeard's whole dream was just, all he ever wanted was a family. And when you look at Marineford, like, Whitebeard at that point, probably other than Kaido or Big Mom, could have had the power to go for the One Piece. Like, he was already like high up in the status of everything, and he gave away all of that just to save Ace, like all of that. And then, like, if his whole dream was to make sure that he had a family that nobody else had, it's almost like Ace learned that from Whitebeard in order to try to help Whitebeard get his dream, because Whitebeard was trying to help everybody make sure everybody ate regardless of himself. So the same thing we're talking about, like, to put himself in harm's way to make sure everyone else was okay. Because literally, he could have not came to Marineford if he so necessarily pleased. And Ace would have not have been mad at all. Like, he respects Whitebeard enough to the point that if he tell him not to come, it would have made Ace okay. but he chose
well,
to
Ace
come.
probably would have been happier with them not coming.
Yeah,
because he knows
100%.
what it means if Whitebeard came.
Yeah, and I think Whitebeard knows that. He knows that, and they knew it. Like everybody knew that Whitebeard was coming, and they prepared for that. That's the whole reason. All that stuff. All the admirals were there. All the vice admirals. It's all the warlords was because Whitebeard was coming.
Well, also they probably would have been there anyway, just because of who Ace is.
Yeah, but without the threat of Whitebeard coming, I don't think it would have been as severe.
Yeah, they wouldn't have been as prepared, but I think everyone would have been there because of who Ace represents.
Yeah, he represent Whitebeard, so the security still would have been needed.
Well, not just Whitebeard, but you figure out, like, he's sentenced to death in a way that's not normal just because of who he is. Not just, like, his birthright, who his birthright is. You know what I mean? I love the fact that the Kung Fu Dugongs like worship Luffy because he beats their leader.
That's how they work.
The Civil War in Alabasta, we find out, started because Crocodile tricked the people into thinking that King Cobra, his name's funny, King Cobra of Alabasta, Vivi's father, was using dance powder to make it rain in the capital city, when at no point did he use dance powder.
Nope.
And so the civilians think that caused the drought because dance powder works by stealing the moisture in the air from other places.
Yep.
Wherever you do it.
Yep.
And then when they get to, it's not Yuba, what was the first town that they go to?
It was
the Oasis.
Yeah,
I can't
Oasis.
remember the name.
It was something Oasis.
I can't remember it, but they find a dead body and they bury it.
Or was it Alabarna?
It might have been Alabarna is the capital.
Yeah, Alabarna's the capital.
Alabarna's the capital.
What was it? Not Yuba. It was something. I'll figure it out.
Because Yuba's where they go after this place.
They have to go.
But they bury a dead body that they find, and they Vivi says, "What did my father and all the good people and all the other good people? What did they do? They don't deserve this. It's hard
Green
enough
City.
to live in."
Green City.
Green City. That's what it was. Because it's supposed to be like the most beautiful oasis.
Yeah, Green City.
They don't deserve this. It's hard enough for us to live in this desert every day. It's a struggle just to survive. Somehow the people of Alabasta found a way to do it, and they led happy lives, but Crocodile destroyed those lives. What gives them the right to do that? What? All this while one of the 7 warlords, he passes himself off as a hero of the people. They don't know what he's really doing. No one realizes that he's actually deceiving the entire country, even as they cheer him on. I can't let him get away with this. And it pisses off Luffy so bad that he has to walk over to one of the ruins and punch it.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like liars.
Nope. He walked all the way over to a building and punched it. And it's funny because the other Straw Hats mentioned, I hope that made him feel better.
Yeah,
and he literally comes back and like, let's go. Come on, Vivi. Come on, Vivi. Like, fuck all this. We got to go. Like right now. I got to kill the dude right now. Come on. Come on. Let's go.
And then when they're camped for the night that night, Vivi's like, has he always been like this? Like talking about how crazy Luffy is. But it's very reminiscent of how Zarathustra says the Ubermensch would be, Ace's response. It's he's been like this as long as I can remember. He hasn't changed a bit since he was a kid. He seems like a fool, but people have always gathered around him. Yep. He may be my little brother, but he has this mysterious charm about him. Just like, there's just something about Luffy that makes people want to not only be around him, but want them to succeed around it. Like, they want him to succeed, and they want to watch him succeed.
Yep. That's very true, because you see that very often. And they portray that a lot, like especially on this leg of the arc, because I don't think we're there yet, but, Zoro and Nami have that parallel. I think we'll get there.
Luffy shows off his stupidity by getting tricked by birds.
Yeah, yeah, that jump, and it was crazy because even then, like we talk about Luffy being the overman, he doesn't want to be a gravedigger, doesn't want to be a part of the herd, so he try to help whoever he can. And one thing the One Piece seems to do, they make animals very important, like just the average animal. Like they put so much emphasis on that, and these random birds sitting there, you know, passed out in the sun, and Luffy's like, "Oh, we gotta help him," and he just his dumb ass, he runs with the whole freaking, like leaving the supplies in the back just to save the bird. Like he didn't even think that those were their supplies. Honestly, I ain't even, first time watching that back then, I didn't even think the birds was gonna steal everything. Like I thought they was literally hurt birds. But yeah, they come out and they're actually a part of the desert and they're there to steal your stuff. Crazy.
And then Luffy gets attacked by this crazy plant thing. And
Yeah,
he finds a camel.
Yeah.
Which is important.
Very important.
Not for this. Well, it is kind of important for the story, but also for
The metaphor.
because Luffy is the camel.
Yep.
The camel's name is Eyelash, or at least that's what they call him.
Yep. They call him Eyelash.
Because he's a prairie camel that's obsessed with women.
Don't let men ride him. No Diddy.
Yeah. He's not a fan of Diddy's music at all. He's not Meek Mill.
I didn't think you could make that joke.
Why not?
Because I didn't think you kept up with the beef enough to know that Meek Mill was actually like down with the Diddy.
No. So the reason I know that is Andrew Schultz has a joke about it, and he's just like, you just walk in Diddy's house, you see Diddy sitting on a throne, Meek Mill on his lap, petting him like a cat.
I hope they forgive me for what I did with Diddy. Anyway.
Yeah, sorry about that. I just couldn't resist the joke.
God damn.
They run into sand pirates, and Luffy he knows that Vivi, the camel, and Nami are on the ship, but he charges it immediately. It's just like, give me some of your water.
Yeah.
He's like, and they're just like, what, you weren't even going to save us? He was just like, after I got water. I love that. He's like, I can't help you until I help me, guys. Chill.
That part.
Then what happens him and Vivi go on the solo adventure where Vivi finds out that her and her dad broke a bunch of promises and broke the heart of some of the people. And she's just like, wow, me and my dad fucked up a lot. I didn't realize that we failed our people. It's not just the whole crocodile stuff. It's also we weren't as good as we thought we were.
Exactly.
Then we have the episode with Scorpion.
Yeah, Scorpion Man. Who's like a big old freaking fan of Ace.
Yeah, he's just a bounty hunter that wants to impress his children because his children think that he's over the hill. And he is. And I love that Luffy just catches the bomb. He's just like, here you go, old guy.
Just like, Luffy in this arc is literally like the biggest kid ever. Like he's not even caring about none of this stuff. He's just hot and thirsty and hungry.
I love the fact that when the kids show up and they steal the piece of meat, Luffy is dumb enough to believe that the meat's actually floating.
Dude,
it's like, oh my god, floating meat.
Dude, he was dumb enough to believe the meat was actually floating, and then when the dude gave him that lie. Yeah, 10 million men.
Oh yeah, that shit. He's like, no, I think he says we have 100 million. The reason I think, because that's just like, dude, that's a third of America. When he said that, I was like, what the fuck? Like, that's not. I like Usopp's even just like, oh shit.
At this point, I think that arc was literally just to foreshadow just how much of a fool Luffy was as a kid.
Yeah, Ace departs after this at the end of the Scorpion episode. He gives Luffy a piece of paper. Isn't it called a Vivre card?
Yep, Vivre card.
We don't know what it means yet, but we'll learn soon. It's a special piece of paper. Oh, another thing that I thought was like a cool metaphor is that the Vivre paper, right? It's like connected to the life force of the person that's name's on it, right?
Yeah. Or whoever it's made out of. Well,
yeah.
You don't know that yet.
Yeah.
My bad.
But doesn't it say Ace on it?
Yeah, he wrote it.
Yeah. He puts that in the straw hat, or
Yep.
Nami puts it makes a pocket in the straw hat, so he keeps it close to the conceptualization of the self. So he keeps his brother close to himself. Good little. Also, Luffy goes nuts due to heat exhaustion or heat syncope or something. They don't really explain it. He just goes crazy.
Loopy.
Oh yeah, they find a poneglyph, but they don't know that it's called a poneglyph. Oh yeah, Zoro says Luffy is giving him a new dream,
Yeah.
but he's not smart enough to explain what it is.
Yeah.
And so the implication is it's just he wants to, that like how he implies what it is he implies it's that he wants to see the, like his new dream is to see a pirate king crowned, but we don't know what it actually is.
Yeah.
If that is it
And
or
is
not.
that, I think that's the same speech he talking to Chopper.
Yeah, like Chopper's
Yeah.
just like, why do you follow him? He's just like, originally I just wanted to be the strongest swordsman. So
Yeah,
I thought
'cause that-
sticking with him would make that happen.
And that conversation was very, like, just how Ace explained how the Overman's supposed to think when it came down to the apple. This, what Zoro does here with Chopper, and that Nami's going to do with Vivi right after, is they're both two halves to tell you how the Overman's crew was supposed to be. Because in that, right before he tells him, Chopper's like, maybe I jumped on the wrong ship. And he, like, comments how, you know, y'all kind of just do your own thing. And he tells them, he said, yeah, we all came together. We all have our own goals, and we all have our own ideals. But it makes us like we don't know what the sense of teamwork is. What the teamwork part is not important, but them being together, following their own ideals is the cusp of that.
But then Nami says, like,
Right.
we don't need teamwork.
Because of the faith they have in each other.
Yeah, we
That's
just
what
have
Vivi-
faith that everyone's going to do the best thing that they can to do, or they can do the best that they can, and the best that they can will help the rest of the crew.
Yep. And that's what Usopp told Chopper to do when they first arrived to Alabasta, which was great because Chopper was like really struggling to fit in type thing. He's like, what can I do? Usopp told him, just do whatever you can. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah, it's just be the best you that you can be, pretty much.
Which is literally what the Overman would want out of his crew.
Yeah, and then when Vivi, Sanji, and Nami are chilling, Nami says something that I thought was worth talking about, or at least bringing up. I found myself thinking the same thing lately. What makes a country? Not its rulers. Even if the ruler dies, the country's people will keep on living. Culture, faith, these can remain the same even when a country rules change. So it is necessary to try and preserve everything just as it is now. What needs protecting? And what do we let go of? I've been thinking about this ever since the Sand Pirates and the town with the fake rebel soldier. It's all just so complicated now. So you could see
That's
it
cool.
as...
That's cool.
Yeah. So remember the Ubermensch is supposed to figure out what morals are still good to keep
So that's
and which
those
ones to
questions.
leave. Yeah. So you could see it like what's worth keeping when it comes to being a country. You could see it like it as a metaphor is what's worth keeping in the moral system.
Right.
Like, is it this, or maybe this, or maybe this sort of thing? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's not that cut and dry.
And that's crazy you mentioned that because it was the same. It's funny, like in this explanation, she's taking the country and trying to break it down into more specific factors. Well, I know in the earlier parts when she was first mentioning Luffy and them as a crew, she took Luffy's crew and then broadened it out trying to compare it because she was like, Luffy is not like your regular captain because it was when they were fighting and all that. She was like, you know, most captains would have never even let one of their crew members like raise their voice to them. Like they all like demand respect from their crew to the point where they lead by fear. They lead by like, you know, iron hands and stuff.
Yeah, that's when she was talking to Ace.
Yeah,
When he said that he's been
yeah.
like this since he was a kid.
It's crazy because now in this explanation, she's taking the same like ideology, but doing it the opposite way. Like she's taking the same ideology from like, yeah, the country, we have these morals and stuff. Because at this point, she already understands that, you know, her and her dad failed the country. And now she's taking all that and breaking it down. Because one thing Luffy and his crew has done in Vivi's eyes is challenge her normal way of thinking. Like what she thought a normal pirate crew was, seeing Luffy and them, changing that. And then now her going through her country the way she thought the country was, it's not like that.
Yeah.
Cool little parallels that I'm seeing.
Yeah, but it's also you could see that she's not just talking about a way of governance, but she could also be talking about the moral system that the country has, and not just the country has, but the world.
Yep.
So, and then that's Luffy's job, is that he eventually is going to create the new moral system when he becomes
And it's crazy because now, like, it's a lot of firsts that's starting to add up, because Crocodile being Luffy's first real, opposition, first real foe. It's funny that they're talking like all this about structure, and it's a lot of dreams and stuff mentioned throughout, and the worth of those dreams, and seeing how, well, even on the smaller scale of how the crew is not fully together, but they have these foundations that other pirate crews don't. It's just a lot going around.
Yeah. And then we get to, when Luffy and Zoro and Chopper meet back up with them, Vivi's just like starts having like a little panic attack, for lack of better words. Like, she's freaking out, and Luffy's just like, nah, I don't think we should do that anymore. Like, he acts like he's not interested anymore, but it's really, he's just trying to coax Vivi into saying what she really thinks about the situation. And you see that there's times when he's really clever, but very he's just like, it's all like Vivi's trying to sacrifice herself, but Luffy's just like, no, either we all die or none of us die. It's like, you're not allowed to die. And
even then, I think that spun off what we was talking about earlier with meaningless suffering, because Vivi, being the person she is, she's putting all this suffering on herself, in which, like, you can look at it and say, from one side, yeah, you're the princess, it's rightful, but at the same time, you're not really thinking about it.
Dying for your country is your responsibility, but it's your friend's responsibility to not let you die alone. That's basically what Luffy's saying.
Yep, and he wasn't going to let her do that, because at that point, she, like you said, she had a panic attack. She pretty much, in that moment, was giving up. And Luffy wasn't finna let her do the same thing. Luffy's like the Overman.
Like, no, you're not allowed to kill. Like, you're not allowed to kill yourself. Is basically what he's saying. Because what her plan would have killed her.
Yeah.
But he's just like, no, you're not allowed. You're allowed to sacrifice us and you, but you're not allowed to sacrifice just you.
Yep.
Like, we're friends. You're not allowed to let us live with the fact that you died. Like, you sacrificed yourself. You're not allowed to let us live with that. Just like we're not allowed to live with you doing that sort of thing.
That's crazy. That's really crazy, actually. But nah, that's, bro, Luffy's being the
wholesale punches with Vivi in the face.
Like, bro,
like,
he don't
snap
care.
Out of this shit.
Like, he don't care about these norms.
And
like,
she's just like, what? Then what can I do? And he says, you can at least try putting all of our lives on the lines together. Aren't we friends, huh?
Yep. Power, man.
And then, like, Vivi realizes what Luffy was doing, and she's just like, yeah, he's 100% right. Like, that's exactly how it should be.
And that's literally a trait of the Overman right there. Like, seeing seeing your friend's dream and not letting them compromise their dreams for something that's literally, in his eyes, would be foolish and literally not worth it. So far as to punch her for that. That's why I was saying Luffy Ubermensch, man. Like,
and then Vivi realizes Luffy's right.
Yep.
And she just, like, a few minutes later, she, like, offhandedly says, like, what does everyone want for when they're done as, like, repayment? And Luffy's just like, you can just feed me.
Yeah. Like, just give me food. Nobody else is gonna say no to that.
Luffy learns about Crocodile's casino, so he just storms in. I love the fact that they just like, oh, they're special VIPs, so they run down the thing, running from Smoker. It's just like, should we go VIP or pirate? And Luffy's just like,
that's true.
Luffy just goes, well, we're pirates, so we should go down the pirates.
Did you also think it was crazy? Out of all the things Crocodile would have and reside in, it'd be a casino. Like, you already taken away from the air, you're taking away their water, you're framing the leader, you're keeping them down, and you want to have a casino, so you're gonna take their money too.
That's what makes the most sense to have it, though.
I thought it would be like, no.
When you
casino,
think like,
I was gonna say like a hospital,
but also the casino is the most clever, because as their lives get worse, they'll come to the casino more.
Yeah. That would, yeah. And that would, okay. I'm starting to see why people say Crocodile's a shitty Doflamingo. Now it makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because like it makes sense that he would have it. Because like it makes sense that he would have a casino with how he uses his devil fruit power.
Yeah,
because he uses his devil fruit power to like steal moisture from people.
Yeah, leech kind of.
Also, that just reminded me, the water is fresh water.
It is.
Yeah, I got confirmation. I'll explain it in a minute.
All right.
I just thought about it. But we're about to get to how I know it's fresh water.
Go ahead.
But we'll get there in a second. But his power is to steal the life. He uses his power to steal the moisture from people, and the moisture is people's lifeblood.
Yeah.
So he literally steals people's life from them, people's money or their life. So his casino literally. So he like.
I see it.
Yeah. So
I
he's
definitely see it. That's poetry. Poetry in motion. PIM.
Luffy just talks mad shit to Crocodile while he's inside the jail cell. And we learned that sea prism stone is just kryptonite for people that ate devil fruits.
Yeah. Good concept. I like it.
Crocodile mocks Vivi. Sanji saves the gang by taunting Crocodile because Crocodile doesn't do well. But so remember, Sanji kicks the shit out of the gator that ate it, right?
Yeah.
And he spits out a wax ball, and it's Mr. 3. Remember, how I know that it's freshwater is Mr. 3's able to drink a bunch of it and get back to normal.
So if it was salt water, he wouldn't be able to drink it. Because it wouldn't have those effects. It wouldn't have hydrated him like that.
Yeah, what's it called? If you drink a bunch of salt water, it gives you diarrhea.
And it just dehydrates you.
Super fast, yeah. Because you'll have too much salt in your body. So it will take like your intestines will take like all the water out of your body. Because how it works is weird. But, yeah. So that's how we know that it's not, you know how we were thinking, like maybe it's just salt that does it? Like a couple weeks ago?
You mean you were thinking?
No, I wasn't thinking it was one way or the other. I just didn't know. But you said because you were saying because of how Gecko's power has something to do with salt, it might be salt.
Gecko Moria?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I said a couple weeks ago, like the Krieg episode.
Yeah, I'm with you now.
Yeah. But this pretty much proves it's not. It's the water itself.
Yeah.
Or at least at this point, it might get changed for some reason or another.
Yeah.
But at this point.
I ain't know. I'm fidgeting right now.
Sorry, there is something that makes like a really loud noise that someone was trying to press outside the room.
I'm sorry, but nah, I didn't like because it would make sense, like why, like salt was a thing for Gecko Moria's case, for the same thing with the water, but it might be for an entity outside of the water. Like I said, I can't go into thinking why.
Yeah. But we got confirmation that the power stripping thing isn't just like salt water. It's water itself. Yeah.
But nah, like, yeah, he did kick it out. Sanji kicked through the gate, kicked the gut of the gate. He spit up that wax ball.
Yeah, and then makes Mr. 3 just like, well, haha, fuck your key. And then Sanji's just like, yo, beats the shit out of him and forces him to unlock it.
Yeah, I remember.
Because he's like covered in like bumps and stuff.
Yeah. The guy's messed
and then
up.
Eyelash shows up with the giant crab.
Yeah.
They get on the giant crab.
And
Crocodile snatches Vivi. Luffy grabs Vivi, throws her back on the ship, and falls off into place. And he's getting prepped to fight Crocodile. There's a really cool thing that I liked a lot that happens there that nobody talks about.
Go ahead.
When he lands and he starts talking shit to Crocodile, what's the first thing he does?
The pose?
No. So, almost the entire arc, post him eating for the first time when he meets Ace, and he gets desert clothes.
Yeah.
From the time he gets desert clothes until he fights Crocodile, his hat has been wrapped up.
Yeah. So he unwrapped the hat?
Yeah.
Oh, so I get it.
It's like the sun rising.
Yeah, it's like, oh, sun's here now, buddy. Now you're in trouble.
I just thought it was cool.
That's true. That's true. I ain't think about that.
Yeah, because that's like he's laying there and then he gets up and he like unwraps his hat And he's just like, yo, motherfucker, let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. It's like the sun's out now.
Yeah. Sun's out, guns out, and then tries to hit him with Gun Gatling. Because that's like the first thing he does, too. It's good.
Sun's out, guns out. First thing he throws, come Gatling. What's a Gatling? It's something that a gun can do.
Technically, it was a person that invented a type of gun. And so Crocodile was just like, you have 3 minutes to show me what you got, and then this fight's over.
3 minutes.
Before they start fighting, there's a Crocodile says something that I thought was pretty poignant. Despite what the idealists cry about, there's one constant truth. On the rough battlefield of life, you either kill or die. That's why I'm more than happy to shoot a bullet through every bleeding heart I meet. And Luffy rebuttals that with, yeah, which proves you're the bigger fool here.
Ooh.
And even Nico like snickers at it.
Yeah.
It's like, damn.
Nah, that's literally what we've been talking about. Like, Crocodile's a dude that would kill anybody to get any power that he wants. Luffy is a dude that just wants everyone to be free.
Or how about the Crocodile will sacrifice anyone to get his power, and Luffy will sacrifice himself to exclude people from other people's power?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, so they're like inverses of each other.
Yep.
So Luffy can't do anything to Crocodile because Crocodile's the first Logia he's fought and can turn incorporeal because his body's just made out of sand now. He uses the something Sparta and cuts a big hole in the ground and says, "Nice reflexes, boy. A full hit from that attack would have killed you. You may have devil fruit powers, but you lack discipline and training. With that, your skills would be as formidable as any. But you're not there yet. Like so many fools, you waste time obsessing over your abilities. Gimmicks get you only so far in a fight without the skill set to back them up."
Cold.
So he's just like, you have so much potential, but you just act like a kid all the time.
Bruh, and it's crazy because this is like a parallel to what Mihawk told Zoro, but just the opposite. Like, well, not even, I wouldn't even say opposite,
No,
but it's like
almost the same.
Yeah, almost
it's
the same.
Like you
because,
have limitless potential.
Yeah, because
Mihawk
Mihawk saw the skill in Zoro is why he let him stay alive. And Crocodile seeing the skill in Luffy is kind of like why he needs to kill him, but he's still kind of playing with him. But nah, like this right here, this is like Luffy's wake up call, yo. Like for real.
Yeah, it's where he actually starts taking stuff seriously. And then Crocodile threatens the old man in Yuba. And Luffy's just like, "How dare you," and runs at him. And Crocodile stabs him.
With the hook.
And that's pretty much where the episode ends, where everyone realizes that Luffy lost the fight.
Yeah.
And, yeah. And that's where we're at. Next week, we're going to have episode 111 through 135.
35, yeah.
Which I believe that will be the end of the Alabasta arc.
Yeah.
I believe.
Right at the end of it. Like, I think they start partying and stuff by then.
Yeah.
And then Skypea.
Skypea's before CP9?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We got something in between, don't we?
I'll tell you.
I can't remember.
So,
I haven't watched it in a while.
see how the best is talking. Sky Island, Sky.
Okay. And then it's, what's it called? Anise Lobby?
Yep. Water 7.
Water 7.
Then Anise Lobby.
Well, they feel like the same arc.
They are. They are.
Like, let's not call them different.
No, they are.
One has Frankie, one doesn't, okay?
I know both of them have.
I know, no. I mean, like, one's about meeting Frankie and one's about saving Robin is, like, what I...
No, look at it this way. One's about learning about Frankie. The other's about seeing what Frankie can do.
Yeah, that's probably a better way to put it. But, yeah, boys, that's...
And girls.
I know the
No
math.
Diddy, no Diddy, no Drake.
No, bro. I know the math.
Yeah, I know. We know.
So, boys and girl, I know the math. Like YouTube's like a 60% male thing. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Like there's 60% of YouTube users are males.
Fix that, YouTube.
Why? What's there to fix?
There's nothing to fix.
Instagram's like 80% women. Like, you want to fix that?
80. I said more 90.
No, that's just a post that you see, not the actual thing. Like, see, like it's fixed. But yeah, next week we're gonna be finishing up the Alabasta arc and getting ready to head to Skypea. But yeah, if y'all have any challenges, questions to our points,
concerns, gripes.
Yeah. Obviously we need to get the internet fixed. We hear that one loud and clear.
Yeah, you know
you don't have to tell me that one.
We got clothes hanger Wi-Fi over here.
Speaking of clothes hangers, I think my internet's about to have an abortion.
Ooh.
I can see it messing up. But yeah, guys, we'll be back roughly same time next week to finish it out. But everyone that taking the time to watch and listen and everything, we appreciate you. Share,
wholeheartedly.
Like, comment, and subscribe. So it's corrupted.
And Drake go.
Signing off.
See y'all later.